Boost lets you control what words and phrases in your content should be turned into hyperlinks. Boost further lets you control what happens when one of those hyperlinks is clicked on or hovered over. Boost lets you create dictionaries of keywords. You can then use Boost to find instances of these keywords in your content and convert them into hyperlinks. In addition, you can train Boost to search for patterns of text in your content and convert instances of those patterns into hyperlinks. Further, for advanced users, you can build your own Boost server to dynamically return lists of keywords that should be hyperlinked within your content. Let's look at some simple examples of Boost to help you understand its power and potential. In our first example, I will start with a piece of content that represents a page from a biology lesson. Then, I have a text file that represents a list of keywords and their associated definitions in a simple XML format. I am now going to go into Boost and create a new dictionary called Math Science Terms. I will now click on the Terms Definitions tab and right-click and choose Upload Terms, and I will choose my XML dictionary, and within a few moments I will see all of my dictionary's terms, and when I open up one of the nodes I'll be able to see the definitions. Next, I'm going to create something called a configuration. A configuration lets me specify which of my dictionaries should be used to boost my content. I'll give my configuration a name of Math Science Config, and after I submit, I'll see this dialog, which will show me a list of all of my dictionaries. Right now, I just have my one Math Science Terms dictionary, and each dictionary will have a checkbox I can check to specify that I want that dictionary to be used as the source of keywords to boost my content. Then, in this drop-down, I'll see a list of all of the tools that I have available that will be activated when a hyperlink is clicked on or hovered over. I'm going to choose for our demonstration the tool called Definition Viewer. I can specify if in the hyperlinks that are created, do I want clicks to activate the definition viewer and or hovers? And if I activate the tool upon a hover, I can specify how many seconds the mouse should hover over the hyperlink before this tool is activated. Once I've set up my configuration, I can then go up here onto the menu bar under Boost and choose Save Configuration. Once I do so, I'll receive a confirmation that my configuration was saved. It is worth noting that for dictionaries within an individual configuration, you can open up the plus sign next to the dictionary and it will reveal all of the terms within that dictionary. For individual terms, you can then specify custom handlers which should be used when that individual term is clicked on or hovered over. So in this particular example here, I'd have all of the terms in this dictionary handled by the Definition Viewer tool, with the exception of the term absorption, which would be handled by the Text-to-Speech tool. Now, I will go into Octane and choose Injection Management. And now, I will locate the site that is serving my biology lesson, which is called learn.flvs.net, and I will add the Boost tool to that site. I will right-click on the Boost tool and choose to insert the site-wide configuration. Next, I will right-click on the site-wide configuration and choose Boost Configuration. Then I will select my Math Science configuration. I will notice, once I receive the configuration saved message, that my site-wide configuration under Boost has changed to the Boost icon, and I get a message indicating that the configuration has been linked to the Boost Configuration Math Science config. Now I am ready to go into my biology lesson and test to see if my Boost configuration is working. I will reload the page, and when the content reloads in the browser, what I will see is a number of words that were not hyperlinked before are now all of a sudden hyperlinked. All the words that are now linked with a dotted rectangle around them are words that are in my math science dictionary. And when I click on one or hover over one for more than 3 seconds, I will see a definition revealed that comes directly from the Math Science Dictionary that I had uploaded earlier in the demo. In this next example, I'm going to start with a web page formatted as a resume. I want to turn any phone numbers that appear on the page into hyperlinks, but building a Boost dictionary isn't an option, as I don't necessarily know all the phone numbers that may appear on the page. To solve my problem, I will form a Boost pattern match that uses a simple syntax known as regular expressions. I will give my pattern match a name of US phone numbers, and then I'm able to manually enter in my regular expression. The syntax will look as follows. What this essentially is saying is look for 3 consecutive numbers followed by a dash, followed by 3 more consecutive numbers followed by another dash, finally followed by 4 consecutive numbers. This is the format that is often seen with a United States phone number. Now, I will create a new configuration called Web Phone Config, and I will activate my US phone numbers pattern match that we just set up. I will indicate that I want the tool that handles clicks and hovers to be my web phone tool, and I will now save it. And I'm now ready to go and configure this configuration in Octane. So to do so, I will go back into Octane and I will right-click on my site-wide configuration. And now I will change the configuration that I want to bind to for my site-wide configuration from the math science config we set up earlier in the demo to my new web phone config. Okay. Now, when I go back to the online resume, you'll notice that there is a phone number on this page that currently is not hyperlinked. When I reload the page, I will notice that this number is now hyperlinked, and when I click on it, it will dial that phone number with my web phone tool. In this final example, I'll give a demonstration of how you can build your own Boost server to dynamically generate keywords that should boost your content. We'll go into Boost and we'll create a new dictionary, and I'll call it Sample Remote. And in this dialog, we're given the ability to specify if our dictionary should be local, which means that we manually add the terms or upload them from an XML file as we did in the earlier example, or we can specify it as a remote dictionary. Remote dictionaries will have a internet reachable endpoint. In the example that I'm giving, I've set up a Boost server at the URL of home.ucompass.com/boost.pl. If my Boost server requires standard web authentication, I can enter a username and password in this dialog here. Also, if my Boost server requires additional custom variables, I can add them to this table as indicated here. In my simple example, my Boost server requires no authentication and no additional custom variables. So I'm ready to save my sample remote dictionary. Now, I'd like us to take a quick look at the code behind my simple Boost server. In this case, the code is written in Perl. Your Boost server can be in any language, including PHP, C Sharp, Java, or any other common web programming language. The only requirement is that the output from your Boost server be a JSON array of terms and values. In this case, I have an array of one single term, which has an associated array of definitions. The term is the word electronegative. So now when we go back into Octane, I'm going to create a new configuration for my sample remote dictionary, and I will call it remote config. I will choose my sample remote dictionary as my keyword source, and I'll specify that I want the keywords to be handled by the definition viewer tool. And I'll specify that clicks should activate the tool. And now I'm ready to save this configuration. Now I will go back into Octane one last time and right-click on my site-wide configuration and specify that I want to change the configuration from the web phone config we did earlier to the new remote config. Now, we will go back into our biology lesson, and when we reload the page, there should be only one term that may be hyperlinked, which would be this term, electronegative, that shows up in the text. Boost represents an exciting and infinitely extensible framework to boost your content to amazing new heights.